So here's the deal. I decided that I was going to change my life, but that was going to consist of a lot of effort, a lot of discipline, a lot of me, a lot of me. And so, as you all saw, the first step was release. And this is the second step. Now, in order to explain this a little more, I need to delve back into my past. Not too much, but just a little bit, so you can understand how much it took for me to become who I am today and to understand who I wish to become. Now, I grew up as a child that had more than one sibling. Like, I had four siblings in total, three brothers, one sister. We all grew apart. Like, grew up apart, not grew apart. Well, we did grow apart as well. Pun intended. But so we also lived separate lives within our parents, and I was very much thrown into the world in a very isolated manner, which it taught me how to be who I am and all of that good stuff. But also, I learned how to do things a certain way. Not the healthiest way, because I didn't have, I guess, the parent that I envision that would make my life better. And I'm not saying this to criticize my parents at all. They did the best they could with what they had. And I mean, that's a whole nother story. But basically, I understand why things happened, even though I know that I want to be a better parent in the future. But either way, so growing up, I made decisions, I made choices that I shouldn't have made, or that I made because of what I knew, the only thing that I knew. During this process, I had a lot of, relationships, friendships, and none of them worked out, right? The point is that after the biggest change in my life, my biggest tower moment, right? If you're spiritual, you know what the tower moment is, which was in 2021. I decided I am changing my life around. I did change my life around. But here's the thing, you can only change so much of yourself in such a small amount of time, right? So it's been what, 5 years now? 5 years. And I've changed my life drastically since that point. But I still had things about myself that I was like, I'm this is not the best thing of me, or this is something that I don't really agree with. And so over time, I was like changing here and there. And I'm a person that loves to change constantly. I'm always trying to grow, trying to evolve. One thing about me, I will not say that I am the most positive person, because there will be times where I'm not being the most positive person, where I'm going to let some things, slide, and it comes from habit, and I am a creature of habit. I really am. The thing is, I want to be a creature of habit that I want to be. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think you really do. I'm going to explain it a little further. I want to be what I choose to be, not what I thought I should be. I think now you understand me. So all these habits, all these things, my first step was releasing every false identity, everything that I used to be, everything that used to control me, feelings, emotions, memories, whatever, And now I'm going to focus on healing further, going further within myself, figuring out what I genuinely want to do with my life. And I'm not talking about career. Can we stop putting that as the forefront? Can we stop censoring that, please? Humanity, it's time to stop that. Like, I'm so tired of hearing people say, "What do you do for a living?" That is so boring. Why not ask, "What do you like to do for fun?" Why not ask, "Oh my God, have you tried da 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 da?" You know what I'm saying? Like, have you tried having an actual conversation that doesn't revolve around what you do for work, or how you make money, or blah 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 boring things? Like, no, that's so boring. Like, find the fun in life. I'm so tired of the basics. Anyway, my point is, I wanted to figure out or get closer to my true identity, right? Because I was already living in authenticity. But the type of authenticity that I want my life to reach, that requires a lot more inner work. So that is my new journey. And I'm living in it now. This is the present moment. That doesn't mean I'm going to stop at some point. No, this is just the beginning, the precipice, right? When you decide to just barely, when you barely make the decision to plant a seed, that's where I'm at right now, planting the seed for my future. Okay, so I know that some of you may not be in the step yet, or some of you are in the step, or some of you already taken the step. And I just want you to know that this is the best feeling that I've ever had in my entire life. I've gone through, I mean, so many thoughts, moments, feelings, and I think out of anything I've ever done in my life, I've never felt so aligned with not only my past, but also my present and future self. Like, I don't know, in a very amazing way. And I'm sorry that you see background mess, but I don't really care because being authentic means showing you that, you know what, this is my day to day. You know what? And it's not a mess. It is the best organization that I have right now because I don't have drawers, right? And if I had drawers, you wouldn't even think it's a mess. You know what I'm saying? But basically, living the most authentic, fun, joyous life I can live. Whether that means that I'm going to have my dream come true of being an amazing wife and being an amazing mother, or whether that means being a single woman and maybe raising a kid by myself. Maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to live the most joyous, authentic version of my life. And that means that I'm going to do fun things, okay? And I'm going to do whatever I want to do. If I don't want to do it, I'm not going to do it. You know what I'm saying? So, I hope you got something from this video, whether it was motivation to keep going, or whether it's to just do it if you've been thinking about changing your life, or if you haven't even thought about it, if you haven't even given it a second, right, to think about changing your life. Do it. I promise you that the moment you take that first leap of faith towards yourself is the moment that you start to trust yourself even more. And it's the moment you will free yourself from all the shackles of anything that has been carrying by you. Things that you don't need to carry. Like, be honest with yourself. You don't need to carry your parents' past. You don't need to carry, why somebody broke up with you or somebody cheated on you. You don't need to carry about your best friend in kindergarten that, I don't know, stabbed you in the back. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to carry these things. And I know there are some things that are not going to be easy for you to heal and process through yourself. Look for help. I promise you that there's always a way. And if at first you don't succeed, you need to try again. Because my new motto is failure is always an option. And I don't want failure to be a bad word. You know what I'm saying? I want failure to be something that's like, of course that happens. Of course I'm gonna mess up a little. Of course there's gonna be a bump in the road. And you know what? And I'm gonna work my ass to, hoop over that, to walk around it, to do whatever I have to do to live my most authentic and happiest version of myself, irregardless of anything else that happens around me, right? Because I can't control what other people do or say or think. No. It's about me, what I think, what I say, okay? What I feel. So much love, much light, and I hope you start bearing some seeds so that your future may flourish. Mwah.